welcome back to FTL. Today we will be playing through the game on easy mode using the Zoltan starting ship, the Adjudicator. The Zoltan starting ship is interesting because, as you will see in a moment, it comes standard equipped with the Zoltan shield, which is a really nice augment to have. This shield will block all incoming enemy projectiles, bombs, missiles, lasers, everything. It will also prevent enemy boarders for as long as it's up. But just like the Zoltan shields that we've seen on enemy ships, it will not recharge once it's been depleted. It'll recharge every time you make a new jump, but you only get one use of it in combat. We start with 3 Zoltan crew members, which is both good and bad. The good is that they do provide 1 free power in every room that they occupy, and we have almost no reactor power to start with, so it's very important that we get these guys into rooms where they can be useful as far as providing energy. I'll put 1 in the weapons bay for now, and then 1 in the engine room. So now we have just enough power, if I turn off the med bay, to use the halberd beam or the basic missile launcher, the Leto. We can't use both yet, but I'm going to make upgrading my reactor an early priority with this ship. The other downside of having nothing but Zoltan crew members is that they only have 70 hit points, so they do not do well in hand-to-hand combat, and taking damage from things like fire and incoming enemy shots is much more of a threat with these guys, so you have to be very careful about monitoring their health. The ship does come with upgraded door systems, so we do have more control over fire and boarders than we do with a lot of the starting ships, so it's a decent balance. This ship can either be a real challenge to use well, or it can work out very, very easy. I've had it go both ways on various playthroughs. It is one of my more favorite ships, though. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think the design is neat, too. It's all weird and asymmetrical. Anyway, with all of that said, let's get started. There are 2 stores here, but we don't have enough scrap to make the most of those yet, so we'll jump around a little bit. Here we come across a Mantis ship. The nice thing is that the halberd beam will pierce 1 level of shield, so it's a very viable solo weapon for the early parts of the game. You can target their shields with it, it'll punch through, do some damage, and then hopefully you'll be able to hit them again with it and do some more. So it looks like I can only get about 3 rooms with a halberd shot, but that's a good start. You can see that took off almost all of their health instantly. And you can see we've just lost half of our captain's health, and there's a fire in the engine room, so I'm going to have to be very careful about not letting him get too low. Alright, we've taken out their ship, we've started some more fires, but everything is under control. The layout of the Zoltan ship also means that you have very good access to the airlocks, so it's pretty easy to get the air out of any given part of your ship, which is nice when you've got fires on board or you're trying to weaken boarders. Now that he's healed up, I'm going to make another jump. I'm going to kind of loop down and then back up this way, hopefully, so I can get some more scrap and then visit at least one of those stores. We have another mercenary that I'm going to fight. I believe I can get, yes, I can get 4 rooms with the halberd beam in his ship layout, so this should go pretty well. He's offering to surrender already. I'm not going to take that. He's down to 1 hit point, so this fight is a foregone conclusion. And there we go. Got some fuel and some good scrap. I could check out this nebula, but I'd rather get to this store sooner than later. And we have some interesting things. I'm probably going to hire a crewman, actually, because it's very important to get more crew on board the Zoltan ship so that you can free up your Zoltan pilot to provide energy to a different system. There's not really a point in having him pilot your ship the whole way through the game, because then you're not getting the benefit that his species provides. There's not much point in visiting that store, so I'm just going to start heading towards the exit. Find ourselves nearby a sun, and I would really love to just target these 4 rooms here, but I do need to take down their shields before I do anything else, so I'm only going to be able to hit 3 rooms with this first shot. And once again, they immediately surrender. No thank you. As far as weaponry goes, the Zoltan ship, both the Type A and the Type B, if I remember correctly, start very well equipped for ship-to-ship fighting. And I'm actually going to have to do a little bit of crew juggling to try and get that fire in my oxygen system under control and hopefully jump out of here before we get hit with another flare. But I have a feeling we're going to get one more before we can jump. Nope, looks like we actually made it. That's good. Head down. Actually, I'm going to head up this way. 8 fuel for 2 missiles? Yeah, absolutely. I don't plan on making much use of the Lido missile launcher because it only does 1 damage. So while it is decent for piercing shields, it's not nearly as good as the Artemis or some of the more powerful missile launchers. Here we come across another mercenary that we will be fighting. This ship layout lets you hit 4 rooms with the halberd beam, which is very nice. And because the beam travels in a set direction, depending on which way you aim it, sometimes it is more to your advantage to have it moving in one direction rather than the other. In this case, I want it to hit the shields before it hits these other rooms. That way, it will do the maximum amount of damage if it disables the shield. Yeah, there we go. And he's trying to jump away, but I took out his engines on that first shot, so he's not going anywhere. And we get some more stuff. We have an empty sector. There's a distress beacon down there that I will get to next. And we have another rebel ship. This one has an attack drone, and I think if I aim it very carefully, I can actually hit 4 rooms. Like I've said, if you just barely catch the corner or the edge of a room, it does still register as a separate hit, so if you're a little crafty, you can really get a lot of extra damage out of your beam weapons. Yep, that hit all 4 of those rooms. Very good. And here we have some rock space travelers who need some fuel. You'll give that to them, and we get 28 scrap in reward, so that is a very good bargain. We have a rebel scout attacking a friendly outpost. I can only get 3 rooms with this rebel scout layout, so it's important to take down their shields so the second shot will do more damage. I should have enough time, because of the Zoltan shield, to take him down without taking any hull hits. Yep, there we go. Took 1 hit, but that's okay. And we get some scrap from the scout and some fuel, missiles, and scrap from the outpost. And we come across some slavers. Of course we will be attacking the slaver scum, because they are slaver scum, and I would love to get a free crew member out of this. They have a missile launcher, and if I kill them too quickly, they might not have time to offer me a slave in exchange for their lives, so I'm actually not going to target their shields. I'll be doing less damage, but that means they'll survive long enough that hopefully they will give me a free crew member in exchange. Yep, right away. And we get another Engi. Excellent. I'm not going to be using him for much at the moment, so he's just going to be kind of my roving repair guy. And now we are ready to move on. We could go to a nebula or the rock-controlled sector. I'm actually going to go to the rock-controlled sector because I just hate nebulas. I like being able to use my sensors. Come across rock pirates. I can hit 4 rooms again. And there go my sensors. But, thankfully, we have that spare Engi crewman who can go up there and get those repaired very quickly. Seems there's a little bit of fire on my ship as well, but I can take care of that just by opening my airlock. And no stores in sight yet. I'm saving my scrap because I would really love to get some nice upgrades early on. Five fuel and 1 drone part for 18 scrap. We're doing very well on fuel, so I'm not going to accept their surrender. And they got taken out by that asteroid anyway, so they wouldn't have survived no matter what. Get a better reward out of that. And we're ready to jump. We have a distress beacon up here. I'm actually going to jump down here first and see if any of these lower beacons have a store. Another asteroid field, and another rock ship. This one with virtually the same layout as the other one. It's important to note that ion weapons do much more damage to the Zoltan shield than others, so as you can see, one volley pretty much disabled the Zoltan shield immediately. And it also took down our regular shields, so I'm going to have to get lucky with some asteroid dodges if I don't want to take too much damage in this fight. There we can see the laser just breached my hull, which also means that I can't use my halberd beam. You'll notice here that the way the Zoltan power bonus works is it will always power the first thing in your weapon slots. So I can't actually turn on my missile launcher if the halberd beam is in the first slot. But if I shuffle them around, I can turn on the missile launcher. And I didn't need it anyway because the asteroids did my work for me. Alright, I want to get my Zoltan out of there before he runs out of air and get him healed up. First I want to, while he's healing, let's check and see. No stores, so I'm going to have to wait for all of this healing and repair business to get taken care of before I make my jump. And we come across more slavers. That is good news because I would love to have more crew. and they offer me a slave. It's a human, again, not terribly useful, but better than nothing. And it looks like we'll have time to visit that distress beacon and still make it down to the store, so let's go check that out. We find a pirate ship trapped between some asteroids, and because we have a beam weapon, we get a blue option to carefully cut it out. It's good, we get some fuel, a missile, and some scrap. Come across an empty sector. There are 2 stores within range. I'm actually going to jump to this first one and check that out. And let's see. We have several useful things here. I'm actually going to buy cloaking because I can afford it this early on, which is always a good thing. I'm going to fix up my hull. And with the remaining scrap, I'm actually going to buy the long-range scanners because I don't think I've shown those off yet. What the long-range scanners do is when you go to jump, they will reveal what is in whatever jump beacons are connected to the beacon that you're currently at. So we can see there are no enemy ships immediately visible. There's a distress beacon over there that doesn't have an enemy ship in it, so we know that's not a trap. And we know that both of these sectors may be safe as well. I don't have enough scrap to make going to that store worthwhile, so I'm going to head to the distress beacon. And let's search for that ship. We find an abandoned ship, we get some missiles, some drone parts, and some scrap. I could go up there and fight whatever ship that is, but then I'm not sure I'd have time to get everywhere else before the rebel fleet catches up with the exit, so I'm going to play it safe and go down here. And 3 missiles for 2 drone parts, definitely not. And let's go to the exit. Can sell missiles for scrap here. I'm actually going to do this because I don't plan on using the Leto much, so I'm going to go ahead and sell as many missiles as I can, and then immediately roll that scrap over into upgrading my shields, because having 2 levels of shielding is always a good thing. And with that, we are ready to move on to the next sector, and I will catch you another time.